Hey everybody. Hey, how you doing? How are you guys doing? What's going on? I apologize for being a wee bit fashionably late. But you know how it is. You know what I mean? It's not cool to show up on time for things. Well, Michael Donatelli, clearly somebody's dopamine receptors are fucking fried. Jackson gave somebody a membership. How cool. Oh my god, Dat Big Panda got a membership. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you, Jackson. That's so kind of you, bro. I really appreciate it. So, guys, look, I'm sorry, but you guys know how it goes around here. There's a Jew tax. I'm Jewish, and it's like my religion that there's a tax for you guys being here. So I'm going to just start perma-banning people who don't pay me my Jew tax. All right, you guys got 10, 9. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler's good. Thank you so much,
Jew
Tyler.
tax.
Thank you so much for the 11-month of membership. I really, really appreciate it, Tyler. I love you. Tyler's good, but everybody else, you got 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm perma-banning everybody. Jian, you're gone. Jian is gone. Jian is perma-banned. Confirmed. Bill Ketch is perma-banned. Oh, thank you, Mike Hodges, for the 1 month of being a member. You're good. Thank you so much, Mike Hodges. Zodak Black, you're good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Limit Break. All right, Limit Break is perma-banned. He has not sent me the Jew tax yet. You're perma-banned. You're gone. Let's see. Bill Ketch needs to be gone. He hasn't sent me a Jew tax yet. I mean, guys, I'm not Jewish for no reason. Like, it's part of my religion. You know what I mean? You're perma-banned. Let's see. JJ with John Shea. I've yet to get a Jew tax. You're perma-banned. 10 seconds, you're gone. Let's see here. Sam, you're about to be perma-banned. You're gone too. We don't mess around here with that. We don't mess around here with the Jew tax around here. John Paul is about to get perma-banned for making fun of my haircut. All right, John Paul is perma-banned. All right. All right, I guess that's enough perma-banning for one day. Oh, Fight Milk's here. What's going on? All right. Yeah, all right. If you didn't get perma-banned, you're safe today, I guess. All right, but next stream, we're back on those perma-bans. We're back on it. Hi, guys. All right, you guys ready for this fucking parlay? I'll be a little bit honest with you guys when it comes to this parlay. I'm Lucas Tracy maxing this one a little bit. Now, the fights that I researched for this card, I gave a really, really solid look at Beneil Dariush, Renato Moicano. You know, though, for the most part, I kind of just did a little bit of film study this morning. I woke up at 8:30, and for about an hour and a half, I kind of skimmed a lot of these fights, and let's just say I'm about to put my money on me skimming a lot of these. But I mean, Miller Jim, I think a lot of people have buzz cuts these days. I don't think it's just Kai Kara France. I think Ian Gary's another one that people, that has a buzz cut as well, What is the fight you are most confident of the result? I'll tell you what. Honestly, I think maybe Beneil Renato, maybe. Did Jay off today? No, I haven't gooned in about 5 days. 5 days. I've been 5 days completely stop. 5 days nothing.
On Saturday, Ilia will launch Operation Midnight Hammer on Charles Chin.
Yaldabaoth If that happens, you're fucking banned. And I'm being dead fucking serious. If that happens, you're fucking gone. All right? You're fucking gone. Oh, Fight Milk!
Shay Parlay Day, let's lose some money. Boys, Benil W.
Look, Fight Milk, look, we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it. I'm not so sure that Benil's going to win. Again, that is one I can say I confidently did a lot of film study on. I'm not so sure about a Benil Dariush victory. I mean, look, I think it's close. But, dude, going back and doing film study on Benil, God, I'm so embarrassed that I picked him to beat Charles. Because I got to be honest, Benil's striking is a little bit kind of shocking. His striking is a little bit shocking, to say the least. But, I mean, look, we'll see. We'll see. Did you do research on the main event? No. I was going to drop an hour-long video about it, but I didn't. But I was gonna, but I... Before let me actually pull up the card before we get too crazy around here. Let's see. Oh, I bet Charles is out. I bet he's out. And let me guess, Gullible is also written on the ceiling? All right. I'll give just a few more minutes to let people pile on in here. But, dude, yeah, let's just say I've got a lot to say on this card. I've got a lot to say about this card. I mean, yeah, look, Jim, we don't know exactly where Benil is at, but I know where he was. I know where he used to be. And even where he used to be, I'm not so sure he can beat Renato Moicano. But we'll see. Yeah, I mean, look, Fight Milk, I don't want to spoil anything, Fight Milk, but I think if I were to pick a path to victory for Benil, that's kind of where I would lean towards. Well, let me tell you guys something though. I feel like a lot of people are saying that, like, worst case scenario for tomorrow is that Ilia Topuria knocks Charles out. I could think of a worse scenario. To me, worst case scenario is Charles gets backed up to the fence. Ilia knocks him out right as Charles' back is leaning against the fence. And then everybody goes to my fucking breakdown video and tells me it aged like milk. That's, I think, is my worst case. Ah! What? Steven! What the fuck? Steve! Oh, $100, Steve? What the fuck? Dude! My fucking heart jumped out of my chest, Steve. What? How? What? Oh, dude. I can't. Dude. What did Steve? MMA gay and a beautiful penis emoticon creation with a jerking off motion. Steve, what did I do to deserve that, bro? What? Dude, that is insane. Dude, Steve, I don't even know what to fucking say anymore. That's insane. Dude, Steve, bro, that's crazy. Words are falling short. I don't even know what to say, dude. That's fucking insane. Steve, I love you so much, man. That's so crazy. Thank you so much for being my sugar daddy. I think it's time I get a fucking Steve Spiros tattoo. I think it's time I get a Steve Spiros tattoo. I think it's time I get Steve Spiros fucking down my neck right here. Steve Spiros right here. I think it's time. I mean, at this point, like that's you know what I mean? Like that's I don't even know what I could ever do to pay all of this back. Like that's insane. It might be time to leave Judaism and join Steve Spiroism. I think that might be my new religion. Is Steve Spiroism, honestly. That's fucking insane, dude. Steve, that's insane. That's crazy. I appreciate it so much, man. Fuck, dude. You're incredible, man. Thank you so much. Dude, I love you, bro. Thank you so much, Steve. Stop gambling if you like Steve. Nope. In fact, that $100 is going on this parlay we're creating right here. That $100 is going on a parlay we're making right here. You have to attend Steve's graduation. Well, based on the last time that I debated Steve on stream, I don't think Steve is graduating from anywhere anytime soon. I think Steve Spiros is a grown man, I'm pretty sure. Right? I'm pretty sure Steve's an adult. At least he sounded like an adult, you know? Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. Fuck yeah. I mean, I don't even know how to move on from that. I'm in so much shock right now. But all right. Fuck. You know, I think this is what Steve would have wanted. Is for us to get going and for us to figure out how we're gonna 20x Steve's $100 donation. First and foremost, though, I want to do a quick poll. Yay or nay on my haircut? What do you guys think? Yay or ow! What? What? I almost threw up. Hold on. I almost just threw up. I was so close to vomiting. Giancarlo, what the fuck? I was this close to vomiting. I still am. Donating to see Shay's reaction. LOL, heart attack, don't know. Dude, I almost vomited. I jumped so hard. Dude, that's fuck. What the fuck, dude? Giancarlo Catani, what the fuck, dude? That's insane. Oh my god, that is crazy. Dude, dude, that's insane, dude. Thank you so fucking much. That's crazy. I swear to God, I almost vomited. I had to like literally stop myself. I almost threw up. Oh, holy fucking shit. This is insane. What did I fucking do to deserve that? At 200 on Ilia TKO now? Dude, Giancarlo Catani, dude, I love you so much, man. That's so fucking crazy. Thank you, dude. That's insane. Thank you so much. Dude, you guys, Steve, Giancarlo, you guys made this stream already legendary. This stream right here needs to go on the fucking MMA Shea Iceberg already. Shea is so fragile. Oh my, dude, shut up, Bill. Shut up, dude. That doesn't happen, okay? People don't just donate you $100 like that back to back. That doesn't happen, okay? That literally doesn't happen. That is insane, all right? If anything, you're too fucking hardened. You should be more fragile. I don't know how to move. I don't know if I can just move on from this. I think I just want to spend the next 2 hours babbling about how that's fucking crazy. Well, I'm glad 65% of you like the haircut. I appreciate it. I'm really glad 65% of you like the haircut. Oh, shit. Okay. God, thank you guys so much. Fuck. All right. Okay. Are you guys ready to figure out what we're spending our $200 on today? Are you guys ready to figure out? Let's hear it. Let's get hype in the chat, boys. Are you guys ready to start? Amin Zaza, thank you for 4 months of being a member. Hello, Shay. I'm the official Spanish ambassador of this channel and the Discord. People forget, man. P.S. I'm interested in your Hermansson breakdown. All right. Oh, yeah, we're going to get into it, man. Carlos Eduardo, thank you for the R, $2. Pretend it's $100. I can't. Dude, Carlos, I want to, but like, I can't. I'm gonna vomit if I try to fucking do that again. Oh man, Yoshi Unknown, thank you for the $2. Take the shirt off, or else Charles gets slept tomorrow. All right, man, you fucking got it. You fucking got it. All right, starting off, Sid M. Thank you for the $2.80 Canadian cents. Act like at $1,000 right now. I can't. I'm too flustered. I can't. But thank you for the $2.80. Thank you. All right. Joanna Denise versus Alvin Hines. Here's the thing. Joanna Denise, he's a heavyweight. He's got a very sort of interesting kind of like stare, you know what I mean? He kind of looks like a fat version of Squidward's house a little bit. Now Alvin Hines kind of looks a little bit like a skinnier Butterbean. You guys remember Butterbean, the heavyweight boxer? I think that Joanna Denise, I think that he's a bit of a marauder. I think that he's a bit of a plodster. I think that Alvin Hines, on the other hand, is quite the tricky customer when it comes to heavyweights. This guy right here, he kind of looks like if Anthony Smith took testosterone and not estrogen. That's my joke. Louis Sam, thank you for the dollar. Louis Sam, thank you for the dollar. There you go, Louis Sam. I do really appreciate that $10, Louis. I thank you so much. If you guys can't tell yet, I don't know anything about these two people. All right, moving on. I don't know anything about these two people. I literally don't know anything about them, if you guys can't tell. All right, next, Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. Now, look, in all seriousness, minus 2,100 for Jacoby Smith is wildly unfair. Now, Nico Price, his shoulder genetics are insane. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's quite worth these odds are literally insane. I mean, look, Jacoby Smith has a lot of power, but I'm not a big fan of his footwork. I think that, look, obviously you got to lean towards Jacoby Smith winning this fight. I don't think Nico Price defensively is good enough because Jacoby Smith can fucking crack, but I really am not a big fan of Smith's footwork. But at the same time, we just haven't seen a lot of Jacoby Smith. I mean, he fought on the Contender Series. I believe he's had one fight in the UFC, right? Maybe. Look, it's just like, I don't know what the odds makers are doing, but they're sure making it fucking impossible to actually bet on this fight, to say the very least. But again, right, you're going to lean fairly heavily towards Jacob Smith just catching him at some point. Like, Nico Price he is fairly slow, but again, like, what the fuck? Like, how on earth could you even make a bet with these kind of odds? You know what I mean? Terrence McKinney versus Vyacheslav Borshov. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Viviana Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. Look, I was gonna do a little bit of film study on this fight right here, but it kind of hit me recently that I've never, ever, ever, like legitimately ever in my life watched a second of Tracy Cortez film study, and I want to keep it that way. This fight is I'm going to put it on the parlay, going to decision, because that's just what we do around here. All right. Hyder Emil versus Jose Miguel Delgado. I've never, ever, ever heard of these two before in my life. I did a tremendous amount of film study on both of them, and I still don't know anything about them. I don't know anything about these two people. Moving on. All right. Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodriguez. Now, this is the first fight that I actually did a lot of film study on. Now, Jack Hermansson, I think, you know, this is an interesting fight just for the sole fact that I think Gregory Rodriguez, I'm surprised the odds are this close. I think that, you know, Jack Hermansson, his very last fight was over a year ago against Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer is sort of, I would say, I don't want to say a worse version of Gregory Rodriguez, but like with what Pyfer looks to do, which is just sting you with a single clean shot, I think Gregory Rodriguez is better than Pyfer everywhere. Pyfer landed on Jack Hermansson quite a few times and actually cracked him a few times. The problem is, though, it's like, God, I swear to God, dude, if Joe Pyfer just had a better variety of strikes, I think he could be like literal championship contender because he does hit really fucking hard. He is very fast, but like, dude, it was just fucking lead hook over and over and over again against Hermansson. Like it was essentially calf kick, jab, lead hook. And within the first, like, round, I would say the first 8 minutes of that fight, he was doing a decent job kind of catching Jack, but then Jack ended up sort of catching on to the fact that Pyfer was only going to throw the exact same combination over and over and over again. And it's like, dude, Pyfer is just not fixing this shit. When he fought Kelvin Gastelum, it was the exact same fucking thing. He would just look to land the same shot over and over and over again. But, you know, regardless. Jack Hermansson is a grappler through and through, but he's not that strong of a wrestler. He's definitely a submission grappler. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, he had a wrestling match with Hamzat prior to Hamzat ever moving up to 185. And, dude, Hamzat beat the ever-living Christ out of Jack Hermansson so bad that it was kind of crazy to see. El Panzer Chop, I think we're 9 months of being a member. Love you, Shay. I've genuinely hit arm in guillotines because of your videos. Really? Well, thank you. I'll tell you what, I've hit a lot of arm in guillotines since talking about it in my videos and like really learning about, you know, how to really sink it in. It's all about getting that crunch, you know what I mean? But I'm really glad to hear that. Here's the thing, right? Obviously, Gregory Rodriguez, very, very talented grappler, tremendous amount of power. And, dude, the thing is, right, I truly think the only thing, like the literal only thing going against Gregory Rodriguez in this fight is cardio. That's it. I mean, you look at his very last fight against Jared Cannonier, Rodriguez looked really good round one. You know, obviously dropped Cannonier twice in the very first round. And again, right, he has a tremendous amount of power. And he just mixes it up so much better than Joe Pyfer does. I love the body work by Rodriguez. He can throw the hooks. He throws straight shots. Like, he can just mix it up a lot better than Joe Pyfer can. He doesn't get nearly as one-track minded. I think, the only thing going against him is the fact that, you know, as soon as round two started against Cannonier, Rodriguez was fucking already, like, starting to gas out. He was already really starting to fatigue. And even then, round three, he picked it up again. He dropped Cannonier again, but then by round four, he was fucked. If this was a 5-round fight, I think I would understand these odds a little bit better. But, dude, in a 3-round fight, I really have a hard time seeing Rodriguez lose this fight. I've just got to be honest. I think that, again, I think he's better than Hermansson everywhere. I mean, I think Hermansson's going to want to look for the takedown, but even then, even when Rodriguez was really starting to fatigue, I mean, there was a moment against Cannonier where Cannonier slipped, Rodriguez honestly kind of made a mistake, overextended, kind of ran into the double leg. And even when he was fatigued, the takedown defense looked really good from Rodriguez. And he's only fucking 32 years old, which is crazy. But again, I have a hard time really seeing a clear path to victory for Hermansson in a 3-round fight. I have a really hard time. I think that in the past, Rodriguez has sort of had a problem defensively a little bit. Again, the nickname RoboCop is very fitting because sometimes he's a little stiff, kind of walks you down a lot of pressure, not a lot of head movement. And against Bruno Ferreira, he ended up kind of running into that straight overhand, knocking him out. But apart from that, I really don't see where Hermansson has an advantage other than cardio. But again, it's a 3-round fight. You know what I mean? Does anybody in chat disagree with that notion? I don't know how you would. I don't know how you would disagree. Definitely very stiff. I'm just curious. Joker will snap twigs. Fair enough. Fair enough. Really, John Paul? Well, please elaborate on that one, John Paul. Please elaborate on that one. It was Red Rotten Man Guy person. Dude, Hermansson got bitched. Hermansson got bitched in that wrestling match. And again, that was before Hamzat was ever a 185er. Do you guys really think it's a 50-50? Look, fair enough, John Paul. Fair enough. All right, well, there you guys go. Those are John Paul's opinions on the matter. But anyway, now this right here is a fight that I'm very, very, very interested in. And I do gotta be honest with you. I think the odds are pretty on the money for Peyton Talbott, Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima, again, Goofy Goober, I remember, sent me $10 to watch Felipe Lima a few streams ago, and I had never heard of Felipe Lima before. Mac, thank you for the 12 months of being a member. I'm going to stay away from the Royval versus Vaughn fight and the Moicano versus Benny fight. Lima wins all day. Royval Van, I have a few reasons to stay away from. But in terms of Moicano Benny, we'll get into it, but I'm pretty confident who's going to win that fight. But Felipe Lima is so fucking talented. It's kind of insane. He is so fucking fast. He mixes it up so ungodly well. Let me just refer to my notes here, but he was hitting all of these different fucking combinations. His movement is so well. He can throw so many different strikes. He can chain the takedown so well. He's very fucking good on the back. I think the only thing is defensively, because he mixes it up so much, and he can almost be a little wild. He does have a tendency to sometimes get tagged, but for the most part, he just doesn't have any weakness in his game at all. And I think the problem with Peyton Talbott against someone like Felipe Lima is the fact that Peyton Talbott, first of all, he's a homosexual. And you guys know how we feel about homosexuals around these parts. Right? Mac, thank you for the $2. I would fight like Lima if I could, but won't power. Yeah, I hear you, Mac. I'm just kidding. But what I will say is, the truth is, Peyton Talbott, going back and rewatching his fight against Barcelos, Peyton Talbott completely lacks fundamentals on the ground. Now, when I say he completely lacks fundamentals, here's what I mean by that. Put him in a fucking white belt fundamental class, he's fine. But put him against, like, legitimate world-class opposition, he's not good enough, man. He's not good enough. His half-guard game off of his back is shite. I mean, Barcelos was just slicing through his guard, getting to mount no problem. I mean, Peyton Talbott was getting fucking completely flattened out when Barcelos had his back. The takedown defense was just so poor. I mean, Barcelos was just grabbing the single, running the pipe, and Peyton was showing like zero ability to grab a whiz or push the head away. It's not good enough. And I think the real problem with Peyton Talbott is just fundamentally at the fact that he stands so goddamn tall. He stands so tall. There is no bend in his legs. He stands completely tall. He walks you down. And again, in a straight-up striking match, for how good Felipe Lima is, I think Peyton Talbott's beating him. I think Peyton Talbott's counter ability is out of this fucking world. And again, it's because Felipe mixes it up so much. He does sort of leave openings as he's fucking going, knee stomp, spinning back kick, right hand. Like, there's so much variety in what he throws, and he puts together such long combinations. He's kind of there to get hit sometimes. It's a little bit difficult to speak definitively on, though, because he's only ever had, I think, one Contender Series fight. I think he's had one actual UFC fight. But Peyton Talbott's counter ability is fucking insane. But if Peyton Talbott just walks at Felipe Lima standing completely tall like we've always seen him do, he's going to be way too susceptible to the takedown. And Felipe Lima is so ungodly well-rounded. His back take ability is insane. I think that obviously Peyton's last fight should have been a huge wake-up call to him. But at the end of the day, I just think fundamentally the way he fights, he gives up takedowns way too easily. If you're going to stand that tall, you're going to be that susceptible to takedowns. And if you're going to be that shite off of your back, and you're going to be, getting past to mount, giving up your back as easily as he was to Barcelos, I mean, there's just no way he's going to win this fight. And, again, it's hard to speak definitive about it, but until I see Peyton actually improve his bottom game, there's no way. I think I'm going to put Felipe on this fucking parlay. I mean, I don't know, but I think I'm going to put Felipe on this parlay. I think so. All right, this is the one I've been waiting for. This was the fight that I really did a lot of research on. Now, prior to doing any sort of research, my initial thoughts for this fight was this. Beneil Dariush's striking defense sucks, and that is why his weakness is power punchers. That is why his weakness is big power punchers. And I'm like, Renato's not a big power puncher at all. Their grappling should be more or less I even think Beneil might be a better grappler all around. But, all right, for that reason, I might be picking Beneil Dariush. Upon, actually doing real film study, dude, I think Renato Moicano's got this. I think Renato Moicano is a way better striker than Beneil Dariush is. Beneil Dariush, his striking is shocking. And again, I am so embarrassed for picking Beneil to beat Arman and picking Beneil to beat Charles. Now, obviously, that was a long time ago. I don't even recall. It was a long, long time ago, but it was like fucking hell. But Beneil is honestly a pretty terrible striker. He is kind of horrible. He doesn't have any head movement. He throws very wild. Renato Moicano legitimately is very fundamental on the feet. He doesn't overextend. He has a really good jab, really good leg kicks. He's going to be a bit taller, a bit longer than Beneil. I think truly Beneil's one path to victory is to hunt for takedowns against Renato Moicano. I think that Renato is obviously a very good grappler, but he's very good in a certain linear niche. He has very good back takes and a very good rear naked choke. Everywhere else, he's pretty poor. Renato Moicano sucks off of his back. Renato Moicano doesn't have as well-rounded of a grappling game as someone like, you'd say, Charles, right? Like, Charles fucking put a clinic against Beneil Dariush off of his back. Renato's not capable of that. Here's the thing, though. Going back to when Renato fought Rafael Dos Anjos on a fucking week's notice, Renato got hit with some fucking power double legs a couple times, but it came from the fact that Renato, during that fight, was really trying to knock RDA out because he didn't trust his ability to win a decision. Obviously taking that fight on a week's notice. So he was overextending a lot on the right hands. RDA was ducking underneath it, beating him to his hips. Beneil doesn't really go for power double legs like that anyway. Beneil kind of likes to grab singles and like transition and chain takedowns from there, you know? And I think that Renato against RDA did a really good job defending the single leg. I think he did a really good job. It was just the blast double legs off of Renato overextending. But again, he was only overextending because he knew he needed to try to knock RDA out. But for the most part, dude, I think Renato's a way more technical striker. I really like the way he fights behind his jab. His footwork isn't terrible. I mean, this is nothing special. But compared to Beneil, Beneil kind of sucks in this area. I've just got to be honest. I really think Renato is going to do a good job maintaining space. Beneil is going to be eating jabs with his face because that's just what he does. I think Renato is more technical on the feet, and I think Renato is going to jab his face off, and I think Beneil needs to try to look for the takedown, and I'm confident in Renato's ability to stop it, but, you know, that's where I'm living and dying on this one. I think there's maybe a possibility that Beneil does end up taking him down a couple times. In a 3-round fight, it's scary because Beneil only needs 2 takedowns. That's why these 3-rounders can be a little scary in that sense. But overall, especially at minus 115, I really like Renato there. I really, really like him there. I really do. Next, Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Dude, and this is another one. It's a little bit scary, and I am leaning towards just staying away from this one for the pure fact that it's always very hard when you have somebody in Van who is literally, he's basically doing a Sean O'Malley right here. All right. I think he's only fought one ranked person in the UFC. I think his very last fight was the first time he's ever fought a ranked fighter. And now he's jumping all the way to the number 1 contender in Brandon Royval. Now, here's the thing, though. Brandon Royval is very susceptible to overhands. I think that Brandon Royval, his number 1 strength is going to be his cardio. And if this were a 5-round fight, I would be leaning a lot more towards Royval. But you look at Royval's fights with fucking Brandon Moreno, it was just overhands all day long. However, Moreno has a very long reach. And I think that, you know, again, right, for the most part, I don't like when people read too much into wingspan because I think it's not that massive of an area for MMA. However, when you have a very boxing-heavy approach, I do think it matters. And I think that is what was really helping him land the overhand all day long. It was just right off of Royval's jabs. Obviously, Royval on the feet's very jab-heavy, very kick-heavy. And just every time he jabbed, Moreno would just swing the overhand over the top and catch him with it. Again, though, it was Royval's cardio in the later rounds that allowed him to end up winning that fight. But the other time that he's been cracked really bad with an overhand, if you guys remember, was against Kai Kara France. You guys remember that sequence when he fucking cracks Royval with that overhand, drops him, and then Royval hit him with a fucking spinning elbow? So, you know, theoretically, I think that is what Joshua Van is going to want to look to do. My only thing is that, again, I don't think Joshua Van defends kicks that well. And I just think that Royval, that's what he's going to be looking to do, is just spam kicks on the outside, spam jabs. Joshua Van, it's hard going through every single person he's fought because he's just jumping so far up the rankings. And, I don't know. If this was a 5-round, I am leaning towards Joshua Van to win. If this was a 5-round fight, I think that's what would make this a lot riskier. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This feels like a parlay killer based on the fact that there's still so much information to learn about Van. I think that, like, if I was working with Brandon Royval, I feel like we could come up with such a solid game plan to really mute a lot of Van's skill set. I think that for the most part, Royval's going to struggle taking Van down. I liked Van's takedown defense and his overall like anti-grappling game in his last fight. But, you know what I mean? I don't know. I really don't like these massive jump ups when it comes to trying to put this on a parlay. You know what I mean? Shay, the Talbott bet is fucking dumb. He's so young and talented. There's so much we don't know about how he's improved. That's an easy parlay killer. I hear you. What I don't hear, though, is do you think that Talbott's going to come in with a lower stance? Do you think Talbott's not going to be completely straight up walking him down? You know what I mean? Is that what you think he's going to do? I mean, you think he's going to change? You think he's going to come out with more of a wrestling-heavy stance? It's going to overall affect his ability to land counters. He is going to be harder to take down at that point. But if he does get taken down, is he just going to get his guard sliced through again? I mean, again, on the feet, Talbott is a monster. We know that. And if it was a kickboxing match, I'm going to lean towards Talbott heavily. Because I just think his ability to find counters is literally insane. He could have better BJJ. I don't know about that. Now, I do think that Felipe Lima was, every time he took the back of, who was the guy that he was fighting? Did I write it down? Well, the last guy Felipe fought, there were a lot of moments where he kept taking the guy's back and then ending up in bottom position. But, I mean, dude, Talbot will have a Manel cape stance. Again, I just think fundamentally the way that Talbot stands is terrible if you're going to be hunting takedowns against him. You know what I mean? Praise something for the €2. Is Peyton Talbot a porn star name? I don't think so. I don't think so specifically. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Is it? But, you know, I'm curious. Let me poll. I'm curious what you guys think about what you guys think about Brandon versus Van. Who do you guys taking on that one? I'm curious what chat thinks. It's split. It's very split. I'm surprised. Heart says Van, head says Royale. I mean, again, I think fundamentally Brandon and Royval, he's just not that sharp of a boxer, and it really is fucking 50-50 down the middle. Again, I really don't like the fact that Van is jumping up so far in the rankings, and I just, dude, if there was a fight where I could see Van deal with a very kicking heavy approach, I would be so much more confident in picking him. But I really feel like, again, if I was working with Royval, I feel like we could come up with such a solid game plan to kind of really stay away from the boxing. But I don't know exactly what his approach to this fight's going to be. I think if Royval's very jab heavy, which he usually is, I think Royval is going to have a field day slipping in and landing the overhand. I think he's technical enough to do that. But, you know, it just depends on Royval's approach. I mean, look, if Royval has competent coaches, they're going to be looking at his past fights, and they're going to be saying, we can't just be stepping in with lazy jabs anymore, especially not against a boxer this high level in Van. We have to switch it up. But again, I don't like betting on what I think coaches should do. Because you know what I mean? Like, I've been burned too many times on that one. I've been burned too many times going, oh, this is such a simple game plan, and this is what he's probably going to do. And then they don't fucking do it. You know what I mean? But that's a good point, Tyler. I didn't even really think about that. Yeah, he is stepping in on only 3 weeks' notice. So, you know, I don't know. But anyway, Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Kara France. Now, I didn't do any film study on this one at all. But I will tell you what. Kai Kara France got smudged up against the fence pretty badly against a certain Amir Albazi. Like, he really got smudged. Kai Kara France, I bet, could make 115 pounds if he really tried. I think Alexandre Pantoja, I mean, fuck. Dude, the fact that he could eat Steve Ursic's, like, clean elbows and just fucking run through it, I don't know what Kai Kara-France does. I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's a little scary. Why are you shirtless? Oh, I got donated to take my shirt off. I think Pantoja might just be the best flyweight the world has ever seen. I do agree, though, Bryce Hawes. I think that Kai Kara-France should have beat Albazi. I think it was an overall robbery. But I also think that Pantoja is so much more technical than Albazi pretty much everywhere. Again, right, take what I say here with a grain of salt. But I'm betting the fucking house on Pantoja. I'm betting the house. I really think Pantoja might be the best flyweight of all time. I think his only stylistical nightmare matchup is Davis and Figueiredo at flyweight. I don't know if any other flyweight really stands a chance just stylistically. I think Pantoja is much more of a man. I think he can run through him. And I think that, Pantoja by smudge. Maybe Cape could be a bad matchup too. It's just, that's something we need to see down the line, But yeah, I mean, again, yeah, LEC, I mean, I think you summed it up pretty well there. Now, obviously, I don't need to break this fight down specifically. I've done that, and I'm sure everybody here has seen my total of hour, and I have an hour and 12 minutes of breakdown on these two guys. However, Askarov did not school Pantoja, bro. Pantoja took his fucking back with a body triangle twice. All right. How can you say someone got schooled if twice within a 3-round fight they had their back taken with a fucking body triangle? All right. I don't need to break down this fight any more than I already have, but let's talk about betting. As you guys know, completely aside from this parlay, I will be betting about $1,000 on Ilia Topuria. And the reason I'm betting $1,000 on Ilia Topuria is because I need to try to curse him. That's what I need to try to do. And that's what the stream title is going to be tomorrow for the watch party. It's going to be, I bet $1,000 on Ilia Topuria to try to curse him. That's what I'll be doing. You know what I mean? Obviously, a bit of an MMA Shea curse has developed around here, where if I bet on you, the bet won't hit. Now, here's the thing, right? I've had many a time where I've bet on somebody to win via a specific method, and then they've won, but it hasn't been by the method. So here's the thing, right? Let's say I bet on Ilia Topuria by knockout, well, then he'll win by sub, or he'll win by decision. But if I just bet on him to win, purely to win, the universe will make it that Charles Oliveira will win this fucking fight. So that's what I'll be doing on a personal note. But specifically when it comes to people who are not cursed, I legitimately think betting on Charles Oliveira is a very, very smart play. And this is the reason why. It's not to say that Charles Oliveira is a shoo-in to win this fight, because at the end of the day, as most fights are, it comes down to who's going to execute their game plan better. But plus 340 is not fair. It's not fair. Like, this is a bad betting line. Plus 340 is not fair. And again, thank you for the $2, Kevin Miller. Put a shirt on. All right. Yeah. Look, again, right, something that I talked about a lot in my initial breakdown for this fight was the fact that a lot of people, I think Ilia Topuria is riding a lot of aura, right? He's riding a lot of aura. And it comes from the fact that obviously he knocked out Volkanovski and Max Holloway back-to-back. And it's like purely on paper, that's insanely impressive. But at the end of the day, Volkanovski and Max Holloway tried to do the exact same approach against Ilia Topuria. Both of them are volume-heavy strikers with no power at 145. And, again, they both attempted... Oh, Nestilli, thank you for the $2. Yo, you got it. They attempted the exact same strategy, and they both failed the exact same strategy, and they have a lot of similarities. But, like, to take those two fights, again, where two guys tried the same approach and both failed the same way, and then they take Oliveira, who's a completely different stylistical opponent, and make the odds this lopsided, I just don't agree with. I think anybody with eyeballs sees, for the many reasons that I've discussed, that if you pressure Ilia Topuria, thank you for the $7 total from Sex, Aiko, and Kevin Miller. Put the shirt on. You guys got it. You guys got it. We can play this game all day. Again, right, look at Charles Oliveira's media day when he's hitting the pads. What is he doing? The guy holding the pads, Charles, is pressuring up against the fence, and then he was going for a flying knee right down the middle. Because obviously Ilia Topuria is very susceptible to straight shots. If you pressure him, his defense isn't great. He's susceptible to the straight knee. Oliveira is game planning to take the fight where Ilia is not the strongest. Shirt off, never mind. Sex Ico for the $5. You got it, buddy. You got it. And again, look at Ilia Topuria's media day footage. What is he doing? The guy holding pads is up against the fence as Ilia's doing what he does, ripping it against the fence. Mac, thank you for the $2. Put your pants on as a shirt? Okay. I'm having trouble getting my head through the pant legs. Do I have a bigger pair of pants? I can't get my head through the pant leg. I'm just gonna kind of have to. I'll just wear it like this, I guess. I'll just wear it like this. I tried to get my head through the pant leg, but I couldn't do it. So I'll just wear it like this, I guess. This is probably the best that I can. This is probably the best that I can do. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, right. Anyway, look. Again, Ilia Topuria is planning on doing what he always does: walk his opponent down, get him up against the fence, knock him out. If he can do that to Charles, he'll knock him out, I think. I think if he can back up Oliveira to the fence, Oliveira is going to get knocked out. But I think that, as you guys know, Oliveira has some very clear paths to victory that I think Charles knows he's going to try to do. That's all you need to know, that I think plus 340 is not fair. I think he should be like a plus 150. I think is much more fair. And I think there's a lot of money to be made here. That's what I think. Bill Ketch, exactly. That's what I think he should do if he gets backed up. If Charles starts getting pressured, just fucking all the way in clinch. That's what I think. Let's see. John Dong, thank you for 1 month of being a member. Since Lucas Tracy likes to muzz, would that make his followers the Muslims? Yes, exactly. Now, let's actually wear your underwear on your head. Thank you for the $2. Save the plants, eat more meat. Look, save the plants, eat more meat. Look, save the plants, eat more meat. I'm kind of big time now. $2 to do that? I'm going to need another two at least. All right? Like, come on. Like I'm kind of big time now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to put icy hot on my balls for $2 anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Jewish. For another $2, I would do it. But $2 for that? I mean, come on, man. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, come on. There's no way. So let's actually get this parlay put together now. Of course, I need you guys, all of you guys. Okay, thank you. Save the plants, eat more meat. All right, you got it. Gleeglog Schlog, thank you for the $5. Please wear shoes as gloves? How am I supposed to use my hands? Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll use sandals. That way I can still use my fingers. That way I can still use my fingers. Anyway, guys, look, I'm going to put it in chat. Please use code MMAShay on DraftKings. Look, even if you don't like gambling, if you use my code and you're a brand new customer and you bet $5 on anything and you win, they'll give you $300 in bonus bets just to play around with. Even if you don't like gambling, I think that's a pretty good deal, like legitimately. So on DraftKings, DraftKings code MMA Shay, just like that. Again, even if you're not even really into it, they'll give you $300 to play around with. Do you think the fight ends before 1.5 rounds? It's tough to say. It's very difficult to say for certain. I mean, again, it depends. I'll tell you what. If round 1 starts and then Oliveira gets backed up to the fence, yeah, I'd say it's going to be over before 1.5 rounds. If Charles Oliveira walks Ilia down, backs him up to the fence, I think there's a good possibility it might. I don't know. But yeah, let's build this parlay together, boys. Let's build this parlay. All right, so of course, Jonathan Denise versus Alvin Hines. We're gonna bet on Juana and Denise. Sex Igo, thank you for the $5. Do you bet because you enjoy it or because of your religion? Serious question. Do I bet because of my religion? Yes, I bet because of my religion. Yeah, so Jonathan Denise is 100% going on this parlay, but for funny sakes, we're going to avoid him for now. Again, I really like Gregory Rodriguez to win. I think at minus 235, I think those are very solid odds. Again, this one, take this one at your own risk. I don't mind a Felipe Lima, but again, take this one at your own risk. I think Peyton Talbott is still young enough and talented enough that he theoretically might be able to evolve his game a little bit. And of course, right, Felipe Lima, there's always that risk of him getting cracked and getting tagged. But at the end of the day, man, I just think fundamentally, I think Talbott is going to be too susceptible to the takedown just because of how he fights. But again, take this one at your own risk. Again, I like Renato Moicano. I think he's going to jab Beneil's face off, and I think his takedown defense is going to hold up. Brandon Royval, Joshua Van, look, man, I think that if you really want to get crazy with this one, I think that, I'm pretty sure there was a bet that I went for here that I liked. Or am I crazy? Oh, no, maybe not. Sorry. I was mistaken. No, I was mistaken. Never mind. I'm going to take Pantoja, and then I'm going to take Charles Oliveira for a parlay. Now, dude, because of Oliveira being so unfairly the underdog, in my opinion, holy shit, does that up your odds. Dude, $25 on that shit will win you $600 fucking dollars. But again, right, you can play around a little bit with this. Like, I think Royval Van to go to decision is not a bad bet. I'm just worried about Royval getting cracked with an overhand while he's jabbing. I'd be very worried about him getting cracked with an overhand right as he's about to jab, because that's just what we've seen happen to Royval time and time again. Now, if you want some less risk, I'd say take Felipe Pena off, and the odds are still pretty good. That'll win you $380. Oh, did I get one? Oh, Bob the Builder with the $2. Love your content. Keep up the great work. Well, I really appreciate it, Bob the Builder. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. I love you, Bob the Builder. That's one way you can take this. I think that I'm pretty sure there was one other bet that I kind of really liked on this one. Oh, yeah. I forgot this one to go to decision. Dude, it's a fucking minus 700 to go over. Fucking minus 700 to go over. Do they even have it listed? Minus 600 to go to decision is insane. Minus 600 to go to decision is so wild. But yeah, I mean, I feel fairly safe about this one. 4 fights only. I do kind of like this one. But yeah, I mean, look, in terms of parlays, I researched all of this within like an hour and a half. I mean, that's probably the best I got. See, a lot of people do not have faith in RoboCop. And what I would tell them is, I would agree if it was a 5-round fight. That's the best you got. It's definitely not the best that I've got, but it's what I put together in like an hour and a half. Jack is just too crafty. Man, that's one way to look at Jack's fighting style. Look, I don't think he's not crafty. Man, I think that a lot of you guys are wrong. No offense. But, fair enough. Man, this is a little uncomfy. I'll be honest with you. You're doing multiple parlays? No. I don't even know if I will actually bet on this parlay. But I mean, these are some of my overall thoughts on this one. Again, like, I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, a lot of people are saying that Jack Hermansson, like, I don't know what anyone's actual opinion is on the matter, but like Jack Hermansson, like, he sure didn't have a second of success against Joe Pyfer the first 2 rounds and just ended up winning that fight over 5 rounds. I think RoboCop legitimately is a way better offensive striker than Joe Pyfer is. I think, defensively you might be able to make an argument otherwise, but I think offensively, I think Gregory Rodriguez mixes it up way better than Joe Pyfer does. And in a 3-round fight, like, fuck, I really don't know how Joe Pyfer's going to win. I really don't know. But, people seem very, very confident. He's gonna break RoboCop like he's a twig. That is surprising. Hermansson looked off for the first 9 minutes of the Pyfer fight. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. He was just off. See, I can't tell when people are being serious or not. He was scared of the policeman's power. I mean, yeah, Pyfer certainly had a big power advantage. He had a huge power advantage, to say the absolute least. Moicano is way better than Beneil Dariush defensively. Beneil Dariush defensively is awful. He's terrible. I mean, dude, fucking Beneil Dariush, like, dude, the amount of war, like let's just pull up Beneil Dariush's record. Like, again, I'm not going to masquerade here. I did very little research. But, like, dude, Beneil Dariush, like fucking legitimately, let's see, he went to war with Drakkar Klose, went to war with Drew Dober at times, eventually subbed him because, obviously, Drew Dober is pretty horrible on the ground. But, dude, on the feet, Beneil Dariush, I don't think you guys realize how bad he is. He's very poor. He's so poor on the feet. He has no defense, no head movement. He's very plotty. And I just think legitimately Renato is far more technical on the feet. I think he doesn't overextend. I think he uses the jab fairly well. I think, you know, I mean, there's a shot, I think maybe like Beneil lands an overhand maybe. I mean, I think it's either Beneil lands an overhand or he's able to take Renato down. I mean, I really think, to me, those are the two ways Beneil wins. And, I mean, I think it's possible. I just think, especially at the odds, I really like how Renato, he's just more technical on the feet. He doesn't overextend. He uses his jab well. I don't know if Renato probably won't be able to take Beneil down. I don't think he'll be able to take Beneil down, but I think he's going to jab Beneil's face off. And I think at that point, it's just, is Beneil going to land an overhand, or is Beneil going to be able to take him down? Are the two questions. You know what I mean? But yeah, I also think, like, Beneil's got a really strong back kick, but, like, it's not, I mean, he just kind of rips it, you know what I mean? He'll just rip the kick off the back leg. I think Renato's so much more technical. He only lost to Oliveira and Arman because his defense is so bad, and against power punchers, he's going to get knocked out. Now, Renato is not a power puncher, but, you know, I mean, look, Renato looked, I think, very good against Islam on the feet for what we saw. It's just the fact that Renato doesn't overextend and fights behind the jab so well, you know. Sure. Gamrot, though, here's the thing, right? Gamrot's essentially a pure wrestler, and I think that obviously Beneil looked very good in that fight. But, you know, Gamrot, if he can't take you, here's the problem with Gamrot is his striking is so, I mean, I think his striking, believe it or not, has actually made a lot of improvements. I was surprised about how much better Gamrot's striking looked against Dan Hooker. But obviously, like, when you look at Gamrot's fight against, Beneil's a good example, but look at Gamrot's fight against Fiziev as well. He just can't use his striking at all to set up takedowns. At all. I think round one against Gamrot, I think Beneil was rushing in a little bit more than he should have been, and he was kind of running into takedowns. Even then, the way Beneil kept spinning to the leg locks, I think he overall won round one against Gamrot. But it was close, but he overall won round one. The difference in rounds 2 and 3 was just Beneil just wasn't overextending at all, and then Gamrot had no ability to pressure him on the feet at all. And therefore, he couldn't set up any takedowns, like, at all. And obviously, Beneil is a very large 155er. You know what I mean? But it's just, like, to me, right, like, people say, like, I've seen people say, they're like, well, Beneil's been out for, what, 2 years? He's coming off 2 knockouts. We don't know where Beneil is at. Or people are like, oh, well, Beneil's not in his prime anymore because of these 2 losses. It's like, it has nothing to do with him not being in his prime. It's that his defense has always been horrible, dude. His defense sucks. And against power punchers, he's going to get knocked out. You know what I mean? He's just gonna. I don't think I saw a difference even though these fights were kind of short. It's like I didn't see, like, there was no difference when Beneil fought Charles that I saw versus any other of these past fights. He just always sucks defensively. I mean, look, based MMA, the only reference I really have to Beneil's ground and pound is against Oliveira, but that came from the fact that he got rocked with that head kick. Here, Arman is not a power puncher, come on. He certainly is. He certainly is. You see how jacked Arman is? Now, here's the thing, Luke, and I think this is probably a more intelligent way to put it. There's a difference between being a power puncher and being a knockout artist. I think that Ilia Topuria has a mix of both. Who has Arman knocked out with one-shot Beneil? Now, let me finish what I was saying, Luke. In order to get knockouts against very high-level competition, it's all about accuracy and timing. It's not even about power. Power doesn't matter. It's all about accuracy and timing. That Arman doesn't really have. Arman is not very accurate. He doesn't have great timing. But the motherfucker can hit hard. He can absolutely hit hard. If Arman Tsarukyan was fucking ripping the power cube, you know what I mean? He would generate a lot of force. But he can't. He's not accurate. He's not accurate, and his timing is not great. So he's not a knockout artist, but he can hit hard. It's because Beneil's just striking defense is horrible that he just fucking ran into a straight right hand. You know what I mean? So there you go. Goofy Goober for the 5 pounds. Too lazy to rewatch the vid. How does Oliveira push him back? Teeps and obliques aren't enough. Would need respect in the boxing. Am I wrong? I mean, I don't know, Goofy Goober. How did Bryce Mitchell back him up the moments that he was backing up Ilia? I mean, again, it wasn't a super long period of time, but again, Bryce Mitchell did have moments of walking Ilia down and landing punches. How did he do that? How did he do it? I'm sure someone will say, okay, but Ilia's better now. And that would be their only argument, and I would just say, okay. GC thing with the $5. I greatly appreciate it. What if Charles shoots and takes him down the first second of the fight like Hamzat? Will he win? Probably. I mean, look, I would imagine Ilia would probably be good enough to survive on the ground. I would imagine. But again, we just don't have a lot of evidence of that happening. We have Bryce Mitchell taking Ilia down once and Ilia just staying on his back for the last minute of the round. I don't have any specific sequences that I can point to say, oh, yeah. Dude, I don't think anybody's ever tested Ilia's submission defense. Now, Ilia's submission offense is fairly good, but I don't have an example. I don't have any examples to go back to look at. So it's hard to be certain. I do think shooting takedowns could be a very good area for Oliveira, though, for sure. I'd love that. You know what I mean? I think that's something that he should rely on big time for sure. Charles doesn't quite have a blast double leg like Hamzat, though. That's a little optimistic that he's gonna shoot a blast double like that. But again, I think anytime he starts getting pressured, I'm tucking my chin and shooting. That's what I'm doing if I'm Oliveira. And so that is where I think he should probably try taking the fight. YPSN MMA, I think we're the $2.80 Canadian cents. Chances this is Charles' last 2 fights. I mean, if he gets knocked out, yeah, I mean, the dude's already a the dude never needs to work ever again. He's a multi-millionaire. That very well could be it for him. You know what I mean? That could very well be it for him. Yeah, and that is going to make me start to cry. So let's move on, please. Z, thank you for the $2. How are you doing today? I'm praying for Charles. I'm doing very well, Z. I'm doing very well. I'm doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. I am also praying for Charles. Yeah, honestly, based MMA, I do. That's the thing, right? I think that if Ilia wins, it's a very the landscape of the lightweight division is very interesting. Huang Win, thank you for the 20,000 whatever the fuck currency that is. Just lock in Charles round 1 flying buggy choke, boy. A flying buggy choke is wild. A flying buggy choke is wild. That is wild. 20,000 dong. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, guys, I think this is my safe parlay right here. I did very little research. Very little research. This is a Lucas Tracy parlay right here. This is a Lucas Tracy parlay. I essentially did like I did what you would. I did like 8 hours worth of film study in an hour and a half. So take all of this with a grain of salt. But again, I actually really like Renato to win. Man, I wish I could pull up, like, without getting copyrighted, I wish I could pull up clips of Beneil Dariush striking. Because, man, I just feel like people don't remember. Which, look, it is, I get it, because even I myself kind of overlooked how bad Beneil's striking is. I myself overlooked it at one point. But, like, dude, like, I don't think there's a question that Renato's so much more technical on the feet. Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't say Charles. I mean, but again, like, I don't. It's never a safe bet when it comes down to somebody needing to execute a particular game plan. But it's just the money line, dude. It's the fucking money line is insane. That's the reason why you'd put Charles on here. My take is that Charles will hurt Ilia at some point. Look, I don't think it's a hot take. It just depends on where Charles takes the fight, dude. Like, I don't think it's crazy to say that if Oliveira pressures him, yeah, I don't think that's very unlikely at all. I mean, that's very likely if he can actually pressure Ilia. Dariush top control sucks, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, if Dariush is going to win this fight, it's going to come from him landing an overhand at some point, or it's going to come from him hitting takedowns. I think overall, especially at this money line, I like Renato. But, like, it's not to say that I don't think Dariush physically can't win. Would you if Charles opens up the fight with a flying knee and KOs Ilia? I'm going on, like, a 5-day bender. I'm just gonna like book a flight to some. I'm gonna like book a flight to. I might go to like Colombia or something. Just have like a 5-day bender, I think. Jay, can I go to your house and watch UFC 317? Yeah, dude, sure. For sure. Yeah, go for it, dude. Tijuana, Mexico. You know what? Maybe, TJ. Maybe. That's maybe. I'm not above that. I am not above that at all, to say the least. Oh, man. Oh, dude. Didn't they? Well, as far as I'm concerned, didn't they just rebooked Costa for the same opponent later, right? Okay, thank you for the $2. I see Charles getting knocked the fuck out, twitching on the canvas. Well, that's nice, Kay. Thanks for the fucking horrifying imagery. Thanks for the fucking horrifying imagery, dude. Can you pin the parlay? It's just right. Well, you know, it's just. I'll tell you what. It's right here. This is the full parlay right here. Boom. Man, these odds are crazy. These odds are fucking crazy. Again, heavy caveat. Heavy caveat. This is a Lucas Tracy parlay. I want to make that very known. This is a Lucas Tracy parlay. I meant to do a lot of research yesterday. In all seriousness, I did actually mean to do a lot of research yesterday, and it ended up just not happening. Well, I had to go pick up my parents from the airport yesterday, but their flight got delayed. And I was at the airport probably for like 2.5 hours. That ate up a lot of fucking time. Then I got home. My buddy asked me if I wanted to go train. Then I went and trained, and then I got home, and it was like fucking 7 o'clock, and then I was like, fuck. I was like, you know what? I'll do all the research tomorrow morning. And then I woke up at like 7:30, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just go back to sleep. And then I woke up at like 8:30, and then I was like, all right, now let's research this whole card. So look, dude, I did my best within like an hour and a half of research. But yeah, it's a pretty Lucas Tracy-esque parlay. I didn't put a lot into this, but I still thought I'd give my thoughts. But I just want to give that synopsis because, this is not like, I'll just be honest, depending on how much research I've actually done on this. Huang Win, they were 20,000 dong. Jacoby round 1 and Pantoja decision feeds families, I think. Yeah, I don't mind that one. Who has the best style against Ilia in striking only? I think outside of MMA, Dimitri Bivol has the best boxing style against him. Maybe. But then I'm pretty sure Ilia would calf kick the fuck out of him. I'm pretty sure Ilia would literally just calf kick the ever-living Christ out of him. So there you go. But other than that, who has the best striking style outside of MMA? Or just who has the best striking style, period? I think Michael Venom Page would be a difficult fight for Ilia. I think Michael Venom Page difficult for Ilia. I think Conor at 145. I think Conor at 145 might fuck up Ilia because again, Ilia is just so overhand hook heavy and he pushes so hard for the finish and swings. He overswings a lot and misses. And I think Conor's height and his range and his counterpunching ability, I think he'll crack Ilia. Just like Volk cracked him quite a few times with straight rights. I think obviously Max landed a shit ton of straight rights against him. But I think Conor actually has the ability to like slip and knock him out, Wappy has 15. Thank you for the $2. Nice parlay, part-timer. Thanks. I'm glad you think so. He wouldn't do that against Conor. Oh, Ilia would change up his game? He'd completely change up his game, you think? Damn, that's crazy, because we've seen 16 fights of Ilia having the exact same game plan. He doesn't take risks against Max or Volk because they have no power. But you spelled no like something. You know what I mean? Hey man, fair enough. L1 loves guys. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Maybe we'd see Ilia. Maybe we'd see Ilia being more jab, jab, slip straight right hand again. Maybe. But I think you're kind of just saying that. But maybe. I mean, I guess it's theoretically possible. Yeah, well, man, I think the thing about putting Charles on this parlay, Mohammed Ashkashira, is that you can like take off a lot of these. Again, Felipe Lima, I think is risky. You could fucking take that shit off. I don't think Renato is that risky. I mean, obviously the odds are close, and there's definitely some paths to victory for Beneil, as I've said 1,000 times. But, if this is a sticking one for you, fuck it. Get rid of that one, too. You know what I mean? And it's like still, like the money line's pretty good only because Charles is on here. You know what I mean? Like you're still making a decent little, like, yeah, $200 for $25. It's nice. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the benefit of having him on here. Brooke Moo, thank you for the $5. Conor could probably beat all the featherweight champions. Man, that guy ruined his career. No, he did not. Come on. Let's not be dramatic. Conor did not ruin his career, dude. Like, what do you mean? The dude was fucking double champ in the UFC, got a fight with Floyd Mayweather for $100 million. Like, dude, he literally accomplished anything anyone would ever want to accomplish. Like, he didn't ruin his career. Like, I think his career went pretty fucking well. Like, I think his career is, like, better than anybody's career ever was in MMA. He tarnished his career. Look, I guess, but, like, look, to the casuals, it's like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, maybe he shouldn't have kept fighting after Floyd, but the fact that he even did is kind of badass. K, I think for the $2 main card parlay, Topuria, Pantoja, Royval, Moicano, Lima, easy. Be careful, man. People are going to get really mad at you for that Moicano pick. They sure got mad at me. If only he never found coke. The thing is, though, dude, Conor, like, he's been friends with, like, some of, like, the most notorious coke dealers forever. Like, well before he was ever rich and famous. Like, you do know that, right? Like, IPMMA made a whole video about it. Conor McGregor's unlimited coke connection. Like, Conor comes from a really rough part of Ireland, and he's been very close to, like, a lot of that, like, underground drug trafficking ring in Ireland for his entire life, you know? Now, that's not to say he was necessarily doing coke prior to that, but, you know, I don't know. I think he's always been around it, at least. Can Charles win a decision? Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, right? MMA Panic, isn't that right? Yeah, his sister married one of, like, the most notorious drug traffickers in all of Ireland. Like, dude, like, Conor has always been really tight with all of those people. Always. He always has. Yeah, I mean, look, maybe Fight Milk, but it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just, again, it's one of those things that, like, dude, the guy kind of had a full career. You know what I mean? Like, he had a pretty full career. He did everything there is to do. You know what I mean? Like, the very notion that, like, I don't know. Broke moving with the $5. In terms of legacy, he isn't in most people's all-time top 10, which he had the potential to do. Yeah, but it would have all been arbitrary. Like, okay, let's just say, right, Conor McGregor retires after he fought Eddie Alvarez. All the casuals would still be saying, man, that Conor McGregor that fought Eddie Alvarez, nobody beats that Conor McGregor. Oh, he's the greatest. Like, he'd be, like, in the same boat that, like, Khabib's in. Because Khabib retired way too early off, his title defenses. We don't even need to get into it, right? But, like, at first, right, because of the what would you say, the recency bias, you had fucking Luke Thomas going, oh, maybe Khabib really is better than John, whatever. But I think as time goes on, people would have sat there and eventually been like, okay, Eddie Alvarez is a good win, but he did just wing overhands at Conor the whole time. You know what I mean? But, I mean, maybe. Maybe. You know what I mean? Like, again, like, it would have just kind of been this sort of, like, he would have had the legacy, but, like, I don't think it would have really held up on paper. Oh, geez, you think with the $5? Jake Paul with 3 years of MMA training versus current Izzy, who wins? Are you joking? Or is that a serious question? Is that a real serious question? Is that a real question? Is that an actual question? Like, you're being dead ass? I would sell everything I owned and bet everything on Adesanya to win that. I would sell everything I owned and then bet everything I had on Adesanya to win that. Let's see. Okay, then with the $2, Dariush is stuck in the mud. He moves like a light heavyweight. That's what I'm trying to say. But people, I don't know, man. People really, I don't know. I'm not impressed with Dariush, though, man. Yeah, man, that's what I'm trying to say. Eddie Alvarez, like, good fighter, but, like, I don't think he would have held up with, like, today's standards of the lightweight division. You know what I mean? Izzy is bad at boxing, but, like, 3 years of MMA training, huh? Okay. Jake is gonna have no ability to stop leg kicks at all, and 2, just fucking, like, just fucking name. Like, Adesanya could probably pull guard and then just, like, name a submission, dude. Just name a submission. I mean, 3 years is not enough. Not at, like, how old is he? Like, what, 30? How old is Jake Paul now? Like, he's not that young anymore. He's like 27? It's not enough time. Oh, Scrimble. Thank you for the $5. Joshua Van by sub looks juicy. Bro knows how to do a calf slicer. I would be surprised. I would be really surprised if he hit a fucking calf slicer on Royval. I guess crazier things have happened. But you just, like, any kind of kick, it's not enough time to learn all of MMA in 3 years. It's not enough time. He would just spam kicks on the outside and then just fucking he could probably Imanari roll. I bet Adesanya could Imanari roll to a heel hook on Jake Paul if he wanted to. Yeah, I mean, look, John 3:16. I think Dariush by decision. Honestly, I kind of disagree with your. I disagree a little bit. I don't think it's about getting clipped by Moicano. I think that Moicano, again, I really think he does a very good job not overextending. I think he does a very good job fighting behind his jab and his leg kicks and his range. I think he's gonna be jabbing Beneil's face off, and the only question is Beneil going to land an overhand at some point, or is he going to be able to hit any takedowns? Those are the two questions. Honestly, I think the most likely way Beneil is going to win is if he clips him with an overhand. If he just, like, walks him down, clips him with an overhand. I think that's how Beneil would win. Based on what I've seen, though, I do think that I like Renato. I like Renato defensively enough to pick him. Again, I'm Lucas Tracy maxing this parlay, so. Brooke Moo, thank you for another $5. I greatly appreciate it. Eddie did beat Justin and almost beat Dustin in the first. Got hit, too. He decided to illegally knee him in the face. Yeah, I mean, look, Eddie Alvarez is a good fighter. But Justin Gaethje, let's just call a spade here, guys. Not the most technical. I mean, Gaethje's gotten a lot better, but at least the Gaethje that fought Eddie Alvarez that was the Justin Gaethje that just tucked his chin, put his hands up, and just tried to fucking go after you and break you. That's all Gaethje was trying to do. You know what I mean? There was not a lot of finesse. It was like, I'm going to walk you down and break you with no other game plan. And it didn't work. You know what I mean? And Gaethje himself cites that fight as the fight that he realized he needs to change something up. And then, of course, Dustin Poirier, he's just very stationary and he's very hittable. He always has been. It's the reason why Dustin got into so many wars with fucking, Dan Hooker. He got into so many wars with even Michael Chandler landed a shit ton of punches on Dustin. Dustin's just not that good defensively. But, Conor McGregor at his best, that kind of Eddie Alvarez mauling overhand style, it just doesn't work. Conor's footwork, his counter ability, he's going to eat that style alive any day of the week. You know what I mean? Z, thank you for the $2. Most overrated fighter, OAT. What is it? Most overrated fighter of all time. Mine is Izzy and Habib. You know who I think might be the most overrated fighter of all time? Edson Barbosa might be the most overrated fighter of all time. That's a bit of an oddball one. Edson Barbosa might be the most overrated fighter of all time. And the only reason I say this, and the only reason I think he's so overrated is because anytime I ever mention anything about Habib's legacy at all, I get a comment on that video saying, oh yeah, Habib beat this guy, and Edson Barbosa. And I'm just like, oh, wow. He beat Edson Barbosa. Really? Everybody loves to cite Edson Barbosa as a crazy win. And I'm like, look, Edson Barbosa is very good, but just if you pressure Edson Barbosa, he just melts. He melts. Edson Barboza can't box, and if you pressure him and get into his face, which is just what Khabib did, his kicking game is gone, and now he's fucked everywhere and anywhere. So Edson Barboza is my pick. Bill Ketch, I agree with what you just said. John G.S. Person, thank you for the $2. Sometime lion remind gazelle who king of the jungle is. I don't know what you're referencing exactly, but yes, dude, 100%. You know, Tyler, I don't know. I mean, maybe, but like, I'm not good at judging physiques. I mean, in terms of like judging like whether or not the physique turns me on, whether or not the physique is like bodybuilding, like how it would stack up on a bodybuilding thing. Like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, the girth tier list was a little different though. The girth tier list, like I kind of took into account like your fighting style, how girthy it was, you know what I mean, things like that. You know. Do an athleticism tier list. That'd be a good one. That'd be a fun one to do. That'd be a fun one to do. Do you understand me? Lilia Tutorio is the gazelle. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I actually like that a lot. I like that a lot. Also, what the fuck are you wearing? It's called Style, the walk. I spent $900 on all of this designer clothing. Okay, I think with the $5, would you rather be bald or lose the bottom two front teeth? You know what? When I talk, I do not show my bottom teeth at all. Like if I'm just talking and I do anything, like you don't even see the bottom teeth anyways, I'm gonna pick the bottom teeth. You know what I mean? So there you go. Like I don't even you know what I mean? Like I'm blessed in the sense that I don't show top teeth. I don't even show that much top teeth either, only when I smile. Do I show a little bit, but I don't show any gum at all when I smile. I don't show any gum at all. So, you know. Oh, thanks, Jehu. I'm really glad you think so. Buckley is a better grappler than Chandler. You know what? That's close. Maybe not. I actually think Chandler's probably a way more technical wrestler. So no, I actually think Buckley is a worse grappler than Chandler. Kyle Aldana with the $2. Who's your top 5 most athletic guys in the UFC? You gotta have Michael Chandler on there. You gotta have I feel like all like the most athletic guys all suck. I guess you gotta throw that athletic. Like in the UFC right now. I guess Johnny Walker is kind of athletic. Walker is very athletic. Armin's pretty athletic. I mean, obviously, you'd say like someone like Yoel Romero, but he's not in the UFC anymore. Um, Alex Morono. Dude, you know what? Oh, you gotta have Hamzat in there. Dude, maybe at this point, even Marab. Even Marab, maybe. Felipe Lima. I mean, he is pretty athletic, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out tomorrow how athletic Felipe Lima is. Yair is he's decently athletic. Jalton Almeida is very athletic. God, there's a lot of people that could be on this list. I think this has to be a tier list. Oh, yeah, Michael Morales is very athletic, to say the least. He is very athletic, to say the least. Oh, man. Dominic Reyes played football. People forget, man. People forget. Dominic Reyes played football. If Connor and Chandler fight now, how should the odds be? I'd say like Connor minus 200. Connor minus 200, probably. Kyle Aldana, I think, for the $2. Who's your top 5 knockout artists? Okay, top 5 knockout artists. You know what? I don't know what order this is going to go in, but you know who honestly I think is an insanely high-level knockout artist? Gene Silva is an insane knockout artist. And I think that he probably deserves to get mentioned. If we're talking about the UFC right now, I think he deserves a mention. Dude, it's insane how much of a sniper he is. Obviously, Alex Pereira's got to be in there. Ilia's going to be in there 1,000%. Sorry, did I miss K's donation? Oh no, I didn't. I talked about K. I talked about K's donation. Hoofy. God, they're still so young though. You know what I mean? Like those guys still need to develop more. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. But Hoofy, fuck it. Hoofy maybe in there. And Tom Aspinall. So I think that's 5. Tom Aspinall for sure. Tom Aspinall's got to be in there, obviously. You got to give that shit to Tom. You got to. All right, I'm taking off all this shit. That's enough. I forgot I was only donated like $2 for wearing all of this. I don't know why I wore it so long. Ugh. Man, that feels good to shed all of that. That feels very nice to shed all of that. Oh, man. But yeah, Marab, I think you got to throw in there as an athlete too, for sure. Marab, yeah, definitely. My girl refers to Charles as handsome Squidward. I actually do see it a little bit. Charles, he has those kind of sucked-in cheekbones that he has that handsome Squidward look for sure. How much do you bench? You know what? As crazy as this sounds, I benched 225 not that long ago. Praise Son, I would have to dig through my laundry to find that shirt. I don't know where it is. So I do appreciate the €2. I just don't. I'd have to go hunting for it. You know what I mean? And that's gonna take a while. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze on that one. Steve, thank you for the $5, Steve. Top 5 biggest bitches / quitters in the UFC. Cejudo. Okay, yeah. Well, okay. Anthony Smith, 110%. Anthony Smith, 110%. Herbert Burns quit really bad his last fight. You gotta throw Bo Nickel on there because he did just absolutely quit. You have to throw Bo Nickel on there. Vicente Luque, because he did just quit against Buckley really bad. Oh, and it's gotta be Cejudo. Cejudo just gave up after that eye poke. No. You know what? Jalen Turner over Herbert Burns only because he's a better name. Jalen Turner over Herbert Burns only because he's a bigger name. Ogre Online. Thank you for the $10, dude. I really appreciate it. Ilia acts like he has so many fans, and I'm sure he has a lot, but I feel like Charles has so many more fans than Ilia, and Charles' record ain't even perfect. Well, I think Charles has a lot more diehard fans. Like, there's a lot of Ilia Topuria fans out there, but, like, I feel like more people ride with Charles into fucking war. You know what I mean? Look, Ilia has a lot of admirers on the outside golf clapping for what he's done, but Charles Oliveira has a community that would ride off into battle. You know what I mean? They would ride off into fucking war for Charles. I think that's the big difference maker, Ogre. I mean, right? You know, wouldn't you agree with that? I would say. Kind of leave the $2. Your top 5 black guys in the UFC. If there's one thing I know a lot about, it is black guys in the UFC. Mike Yim, I do remember. I remember positing Bo Nickel's potential for sure. I also made quite a few videos a long time ago talking about how he'll never ever be good. So based on how his career ended up developing. So you know what? That's null and void. Number 1 is Dricus du Plessis in terms of black guys. Number 1 is Dricus du Plessis. Number 2. Number 2, you know what? I mean, he's not in the UFC right now, but I really want to say Mike Perry. Isn't Rose Namajunas a little bit mixed? Isn't Rose Namajunas a little bit mixed? She'll be my number 3. I think she has like some sort of like darker kind of skin tone in there somewhere. I don't know if it's black, but number 4, I'm gonna say. Number 4, I'm going to say Tatsura Taira, only because technically all humans descend from Africa. All humans descend from Africa. You cannot argue otherwise. And number 5, yeah, Marvin Vittori would be a good one. Yeah, I think I got to say Jerome Holloway for number 5. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Oh, man. No Daniel Cormier? No, who would have thought I'm not putting fucking Daniel Cormier on that list? Who would have fucking thought I'm going to avoid that? Alrighty, guys. I'm a wee bit tired. I'm a wee bit sleepy tired. But, look, guys. Also, the gardeners are here, and they're being really loud behind me. So, I think this is a good time to end things. Oh, never mind. Our boy Steve has something to say. Steve Sparrow's saying for the $5.
Top 5 most likely fighters to stink? Past or present?
Steve, great question. Let me think about this one. This is a good question. Oh, And Mike Connerton, thank you for the $5.
Nico Price is plus 1100 on DraftKings.
I hope you used code MMA Shay on that. I hope you used code MMA Shay on that one. You know what? This one is a bit out of left field. But dude, you know who probably really reeks? You remember when fucking Michael Chiesa looked like a caveman? You remember that? Like fucking 2017, he looked like a caveman and he was fighting at 155. He definitely went for a sort of an all-natural kind of look when it came to using deodorant. Like that Michael Chiesa, you know, when someone asked him what kind of deodorant do you use, he goes, "No, I'm all natural." I'd say, "Ooey." I'd say, "Oi." That's what I'd say. He's up there. Daniel Cormier for sure. Just because, like, when it comes to Daniel Cormier, like, he has so many folds he has to lift up to fucking wash, you know what I mean? So he's in there for sure. You know, I don't feel like Sean Woodson would just like smell bad in the terms of like normal human body odor. I feel like he would like have like a very unsettling scent. Like he would kind of give off like a metallic kind of scent. You know what I mean? Like he would kind of like, you know what I mean? He's in a different category. Yeah, Woodson smells like spiders. Yeah, Benoit. I like the Benoit Saint-Denis shout. Because yeah, you can tell Benoit Saint-Denis just like fucking rubs dirt on himself and then jumps in a river and calls it a day when it comes to needing to clean himself. So he's definitely there. I bet Ilia Topuria wears like $10,000 cologne, so he's probably the complete opposite of that list. Yuri Prohashka's another one that I think fucking just like rolls around in the grass to clean himself up. You know what I mean? Like Yuri's like, I need a shower, and he just rolls around in the grass, and then it's like, all right. You know what I mean? Yuri, I'm gonna say Yuri. Alex Joy, thank you for the $2.
Best smelling fighter.
It's gotta be Ilia. Ilia probably has really expensive cologne. You know? Right? Wouldn't you say? Like Ilia Topuria probably smells like luxury.
Happy IFW Che. Jew tax has been deposited.
Dylan, I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that, Dylan Carvalho. Thank you, buddy. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Man, today's been such a fun stream, I will say. Today's been such a fun stream. I've had a great time today. Okay, maybe Fight Milk, but Chris Curtis is a buddy of mine. Chris Curtis is a very dear friend of mine, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. Are you growing a goatee? You know what it is, Aaron? I think no, not specifically. Like my facial hair has always looked like this. And it's just because I can't get any facial hair really anywhere else, but it's my for some reason my facial hair is darkening. I don't know why. It might just be growth. It might just be me maturing. But my facial hair used to be very blonde. Everywhere else on my face, my facial hair is very blonde. But it's starting to turn a lot darker right around this area. And therefore, you know, it's starting to become more noticeable, to say the least. I don't know how I feel about that. I might try to bleach my facial hair. You're going through rabbi metamorphosis. I might. I might be. Oh, man. I don't know what it is. I haven't been sleeping great for some reason. Why'd you copy Ilia's haircut? I didn't copy anybody's haircut. Save the Plants, Eat More Meat donated $200 to me. Months ago at this point to get a buzz cut. And I actually kind of like it. I actually kind of like the buzz cut. That's why I went back to it. I also think it kind of gets rid of that boyish look a little bit. Dude, like I said, remember, the day I got that buzz cut and I went out to the bars that night, a girl put her thumb in my mouth. Remember that? Right, remember I told you guys this story? Right as I walked by this girl, she caresses my face and like slipped her finger in my mouth. And I was like, wow. And it's all the buzz cut, I think. I think it's just all the buzz cut. So now I'm trying to ride it a little bit. You know what I mean? You know? Oh, JG2 is here. What's up, buddy? I really appreciate you making me such a focal point of your Charles breakdown. That was very nice of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. My Charles video, like, within, like, a fucking, 2 hours, jumped up 2,000 views. I was like, that was out of nowhere. Dyeing my hair blonde, we get the win this weekend? I fucking hope so. Shay, can you show us how to evade taxes? Dude, honestly, the truth is, for me, my strategy to avoid taxes is just spending all of my money and then calling it a business expense. There you go. Don't tell the IRS I said that. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't take it like that, JG. I didn't take it like that at all. I didn't take it like that. If there's one, you can certainly weed out the idiots when it comes to YouTube comments, to say the least, and that's one of them. But I don't think any sane person would think that watching it. No new wall prints because my printer's out of ink and I refuse to buy more ink. Just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Shay, is it bubblegum pink? What? Is what? Bubblegum pink. Like the head of my penis? You know what? Yeah, it is. It's exactly what it is. Oh, man. What's the parlay? Honestly, Minecraft Enchantment Table, I wouldn't bother with the parlay. It was a Lucas Tracy-esque parlay today. It was a Lucas Tracy-esque parlay. I'll tell you what, I watched a good amount of footage on Benil Dariush and Renato Moicano, but apart from that, I kind of just skimmed a lot of those fights. I didn't do a lot of research this time around. Well, that's what I'm thinking, Minecraft Enchantment Table. That's what I'm thinking. Those can hit sometimes, so we're trying it out, but I really didn't do much research today. The parlays bet the house on Charles. I mean, look, you know what? Honestly, the odds are not fair. Charles should not be that big of an underdog. The odds are not fair. However, I will be betting everything on Ilia Topuria in an attempt to curse him, is what I'm trying to do. Because I've never hit a big bet on any main event. I've never hit a big bet. So I'm gonna bet $1,000 tomorrow on Ilia Topuria, and I'm gonna show you guys the fucking bet slip. Watch your video. Do you think DDP will be able to grapple with Chimaev? I think that DDP has shown the ability to not give up his back from the turtle position. To answer your question. Now, can he grapple with Chimaev? That's another question. But at the end of the day, when you're grappling with Khamzat, there's two things you got to worry about. Giving up your back or getting Darce choked. I think the way that DDP grabs the underhook from bottom half guard, there is no way to give up your back from the underhook. Now, of course, theoretically, you grab that underhook, you can technically get a Darce choke. Khamzat's arms aren't the longest, though, and as long as DDP keeps the underhook strong and avoids getting the arm put across, he should be able to avoid the Darce choke. So, yes. Yeah, exactly, JG. It's just time to fucking wave the white flag. It's time to wave the white flag if Ilia still wins. I mean, look, Minecraft and Champion Table, here's what I think. I think that Dariush, if he can take Moicano down, he's got a very good shot to win because Moicano is terrible off of his back. Or if he at some point is able to clip him with an overhand, I think Dariush can win. But I think Dariush's striking defense is dog shit. I think it's dog shit. I think that Moicano is going to land a lot of jabs on him, a lot of jabs. And I think that Moicano is honestly a more technical and more safe on the feet. He doesn't overextend. I am leaning towards a Moicano decision, but, that's just if he can avoid the takedown and not get clipped with an overhand. Those are Beneil's paths to victory. So, whether or not you think Moicano is capable of avoiding those two things, I got into some specifics to why I think Moicano can stop the takedown, but, you never truly know for sure. But overall, I do like Moicano to win. If Ilia gets caught in a choke with Charles, would he tap or go to sleep? Probably tap because, why? If you're blacking out, why choose to go to sleep if you don't have to? You know what I mean? Like let's just not do that.